What is up, everybody? My name is James D. Fiore, and this is Blackballed. Today, it's part two of a Blackballed doubleheader. At first, we had Joe Williamson, a.k.a. That Nerd Dad, who tried to tell me that LeBron James was better than Michael Jordan, and then tried to give my daughter advice, even though he's only ranked 86 on the national podcast charts for parent podcasts. So, I'm just kidding. I told him to come back when he was ranked 20th, because my son broke my daughter's wand. And when you do that, you need more than just, did you use your words? No, I love Joe. I was happy to have Joe here. My guest right now, though, today, is on location in Toronto. She has been there all day. Today there's a rally, I believe. I think it starts at 5, but it could have already started. It's called it's for Prisoners Justice Day. And really, it is all about trying to protect those who should be protected as it is. When she told me this statistic from, I think from the last 20 years or something like that, that 1,500 people who have been in custody have either taken their own life or been killed or OD'd, I was completely in shock. I thought, and this harkens back a little bit to a conversation I've had with a couple people, including Kareem Assad, who's a friend of the show, about how when you're in prison, that should be where you are protected the most. Their job literally is to protect you from others and yourself. And I am very much interested in speaking with her today. She is from Sorry, excuse me. I just had a big hiccup. I think I swallowed a fly. I think I might have swallowed a fruit fly, which is no good. Okay, from Incarcerated Voters, and her name is Angela Vos. Angela, I've swallowed a bug. I'm really sorry. I think I swallowed a bug.
Yuck.
Angela, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate your time. Where are you right now, by the way?
I am downtown Toronto, and I'm right across from the Trinity Church.
Okay.
Where the rally will be held tonight.
Now, I want to rewind a little bit because I think it's important to sort of set up your story and to sort of tell our audience what it is that made you, take this torch and basically try to find justice for people who have passed away while in the custody of our justice system, if you don't mind.
I pulled my son's bail because I needed help with him after he had relapsed. They had him at jail for 48 hours, and he died. And they called me and let me know he was no longer alive. Yeah. So I feel it really strong that I have to advocate for other people so that other moms and other people don't have to go through this, because we think our children should be safe and get corrections, as they call it.
You know, and I agree with you, and I applaud you. I told you this off air, and I think it's worth mentioning on air because I think anyone watching this or listening to this over the next couple days are going to have the exact same thought that I had this morning. So it's not an original thought from me, but I think it speaks volumes based on what you've gone through, that you're just able to take a tragedy and try to spin gold with it, in that you are redirecting energy in a positive manner so that it doesn't happen to other people. Like, really, that's your goal, right? You don't want other people to go through what you went through.
Absolutely. I want people to feel secure when they are supposed to, especially with healthcare.
Tell me about, Sylvia Jones, who's, I believe, our Deputy Premier and our Minister of Health. You were supposed to have a meeting with her today, and from what I understand, it was organized, it wasn't organized yesterday. It was organized quite a while ago, I think, or at least, and with enough time to spare. And she was a no-show today. Is that correct?
No show. I actually invited Doug Ford as well, but he didn't show up either.
But Sylvia she said she was coming, wasn't she?
Yes.
What do you think is the motivation behind that kind of no-show? You're a parent, you lost your son under very awful circumstances, preventable circumstances, and as the Minister of Health, she couldn't find the time to honor a commitment that she had already made to you. Why do you think, like politically, if you put yourself in her shoes, why do you think that she wouldn't want to meet you and try to anything that she could in order to at least hear you out.
I think because the stigma is so high and because of the society and the way that they look at it and how many people were actually at that press conference this morning, probably influenced that as well. They actually had OPP at the press conference this morning, and that never happens, but seems to happen at a lot of the conferences that I tend to do.
What is the response that you get from the OPP? Because they have to be. I'm assuming they have to be careful. You have a lawsuit right now. Is it against the government of Ontario, or where is your lawsuit being directed at?
It is against the government of Ontario as well as the hospital, Markham Stouffville Hospital,
Okay.
that released Jordan back to prison when he was still in active overdose.
Wow. So, there is a movement afoot, though? From what I understand, there are a lot of mothers that are and a lot of parents and family members in the same position as you. When I mentioned that stat, that 1,500 people from the year 2000, is that correct?
Yes.
So we're looking at, I'm really horrible at math, but 23 years, 1,500, we're looking at what, 70 preventable deaths or something like that each year?
It's actually 64 a year, yes.
64. I am okay at math, but not quite that good, right? 64, and that is such a high number. And do most of those deaths involve things like the one that I know from my hometown, not my hometown, but the town that I live in now. A man with schizophrenia was put in prison. They had his medication details with him, but they didn't give his medication and basically ignored him for 48 hours, and he hung himself. There are so many situations like that, isn't there?
Absolutely. They continuously withhold medications, Parkinson's medications, a lot of pain medications. They say that they're not good for them. And they also withhold their medications when they're being released from prison because people can't get their meds and they don't release them with medications, escalating more problems when they hit the streets.
So what are some of the solutions that you and your organization are proposing?
I would really like for our healthcare system to take on, and our long-term care system to take on all correctional facilities across, and federal facilities across Canada as well, because we're just not getting the healthcare inside, and it's inadequate, the training and the response.
Have you? I can understand, or at least I would expect that you would feel a lot of foot dragging on behalf of the government and the justice system. But have you experienced any pushback from them, as if you're like barking up the wrong tree or anything like that?
No, outside of trying to discourage me to do protests and giving me roadblocks like that. They know that what happened with my son was wrong. And I believe that's why I don't get a whole lot of pushback. They just really know what has happened to Jordan was preventable through 17 other inquests that happened before Jordan's death. It was a recommendation that he wouldn't be left alone after medical attention. If that had happened, that Jordan would never have died because he would never have been left unsupervised.
Has there been any successful lawsuits that you know of that have been, leveled against the government or a prison or a hospital from someone that's been in the same situation as you?
Absolutely. I've got quite a few friends that have been successful, and a few of them have actually denied their lawsuit because as a part of their lawsuit, they would have to stop speaking about their children and about what happened. So They have denied those requests and are continually fighting. It's been 12 years for April Tycho Liz. Her brother Marty was incarcerated at Hamilton prison, and his case is almost identical to Jordan's.
Wow, that is shocking. Like the to family members that you can win a lawsuit, and so clearly the eyes of the law, and I think we're having trouble with our stream right now, so maybe I'll just get rid of your camera here. where the law says that yes, you won, but they force a non-disclosure agreement, or else you can't receive whatever the lawsuit deemed that you're entitled to.
Absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
crazy.
Yes. It is crazy. And a lot of us are saying no. You know what? So many people have been silenced for so many years. And because they're silenced, because they've accepted this money, nothing is being done. So I repetitively say, it's not the money that I'm looking for, it's change. And ultimately, that's what I will push for.
And so the event today, are you speaking at this event?
Yes, I spoke this morning and I will be speaking again this evening.
Okay. And how was you were received pretty well this morning from what I know.
Yes.
And it was a pretty packed house, wasn't it?
Yes, it was extremely packed for a press conference. Usually there's only a few people there.
Were you able to discuss this with any other members of the media, especially the mainstream media?
I spent most of my day yesterday responding to mainstream media and CTV this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I did mine ahead of time to give other people the opportunity because I'm out here often.
Yeah. How are you, by the way? I mean, like, listen, like all press conferences and and rallies and podcast appearances and talking to mainstream media. That's all pretty stressful stuff. But listen, you've gone through the gauntlet here. Like you've experienced the worst loss a parent can ever experience, and now you're moving forward in a way that's trying to help other people. But how are you doing? How's your mental health? How do you feel? Like, are you okay?
I don't even know who I am, or I'm just kind of going through the motions of where I can be. I feel like a person without something's missing. Like I'm missing part of my soul. Half my body is gone. You just never ever recover from this stuff in the same manner as what you were before. It has
Can you tell
changed my entire life.
Can you tell me a little bit about your son?
Jordan was super fun kid. He loved snowboarding and skateboarding. He was extremely into adrenaline type of sports. But he had a flip side. He was extremely depressed when he shattered. His heart shattered. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get mental health help for him. And he found a way to supplement that with self-medication on the streets.
How old would he be today?
Jordan would be 29 and a half.
Well, listen, I'm really sorry about your loss, but I am super impressed with you as a person, and I think people watching this will see you as kind of a hero, and I know you don't feel like one, and you probably never wanted to be this kind of hero. I obviously, but the fact that your work, and you probably won't ever. I mean, you might, but like you've probably saved lives and you don't even know it. Because of the way that communications and the way that people's energies, when they embark on something like this, that ripples into our society in such a way where it could just impact someone's decision making and save the life of someone that they love, or it could make a person in a correctional facility just take a little bit more care because they read about your story and they're like, listen, I don't want that to happen on my watch. So you probably already saved a life, and I think you deserve to be applauded for that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I'm gonna leave it there because I think you had a heavy enough day, and I think we've set. Unless there's something else that you want to add.
I think we've got through most of the questions. I just wanted to add that Jordan was special. He was somebody, and everybody that died there isn't a number. They are people, and I'd really encourage you to go on the Tracking Injustice website and read each and every single one of those 1,500 names, because that's hard.
I think that's a great idea, and I think I will do that, and then I'll post the link when I post this on my socials. And I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And if you want, can you grab me the number of that woman behind you? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely, I will.
Oh, James. Angela Vos, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good one. That is tough. That is really tough. I'm so proud of her. I think, yeah, like I said, there's nothing darker. I don't think that a person can experience, and it would be very easy. And I'm sure I would do this. I would probably hibernate and medicate myself until I felt nothing. And to have that kind of courage and strength to take your child's death and to turn it into a springboard into activism that could help save others' lives. Those are the people. Those are the ones. Angela Vos is one of those people that I wish society had more of, because I think what she's doing is massively important, and maybe it's therapeutic as well, but it must be really hard. So I really appreciate her coming on the show. I just heard about her story not too long ago from Leanne Schaefer, who I was joking with. I already have Leanne's number. She was in the background there, but to hear her talk and to just know that it must be an exhausting existence, but the adrenaline and the motivation to just keep going, I think, is something that we all need to commend. And so I once again thank Angela Vos for coming on the show, and we'll see you tomorrow on Casual Friday on Blackballed.
Blackballed. Blackballed. Blackballed. Blackballed. Blackballed.